Hey everyone, thanks for trying to learn to play games. My name is Lance, and in today's video I'm going to be playing through and also teaching you how to play Zombicide Undead or Alive. This is the latest Zombicide from CMON Games, and is a 1 to 6 player game. It takes roughly 1 to 2 hours to play, and is a fully cooperative game where all the players are working together to complete whichever scenario they've chosen to go on. So in this particular video, I'm going to first go through the new rules that are introduced in this one, as there's a fair number of them, and some of them are a little tricky. I had to take a couple reads on this one just to get this all figured out. So really interesting. I like some of the changes that they added and some of the different things. Definitely feels like Zombicide, but definitely adds some new flavor to the game as well, which is really interesting. Even with a series like this that's been going on for quite some time, they're able to still continue to add new things that make the game playable and unique with this particular iteration. So with this one, I am going to be instructing you as I would hope you understand how to play Zombicide. If not, I do have some teaching videos for that, and I might do a full teaching video for this one. Let me know in the comments down below if that's something you'd like to see, and if I get enough requests, I will look at doing that. But with this video, like I said, I'm going to assume that you know how to play Zombicide, and I'll explain just the new features with this one. So let's go ahead and get into that first, and then after that, then I'm going to be playing through the second scenario, as the first one is a very simple just tutorial scenario. So this is the first full-fledged scenario. So I'm going to play through this and see how my survivors do, or I'm not sure what they're classified in this, but we're going to go with that, as that's usually what they're classified in, is in Zombicide. So first off, let's talk about what is new with this game. So there's a whole collection of different new things with this one. First off, with the buildings. So buildings in this one, there's no doors, so you'll never have to drop doors or open doors in this particular Zombicide. Instead, when you enter a building for the first time, you're going to be placing one of these corpse spawn points. In most of the buildings, they'll have areas, as you can see here, that you're going to be dropping these tokens in on their active side. And then there's going to be ways, such as using holy water, or if you have what's their classification? Faithful, which I'm going to cover in a little bit. They can actually use regular water and bless it, and then when you hit it, you'll flip it over to its opposite side, and this is the inactive side, so that will stop any additional spawns in that particular building for potentially the rest of the game. There might be other things that might flip these back over. So that's the first big thing, is that you'll never spawn enemies in a building the first time you go into it, like most of the other Zombicides. When you open that first door, then you populate the building, which adds an interesting dynamic to the game as well, because I don't know if you guys play this way, but in a lot of my Zombicide games, obviously, as the survivors, we're trying to race around the map, keep things low, and get in and open up those big buildings so that you don't spawn a ton of enemies when you do that. So this is a little bit different, as you don't want to go into a bunch of different buildings at once, as each one of those areas is going to be triggered. And again, with this one, like with some of the other ones, if there are ever 7 or more active spawn points, the game is immediately over and the players have lost. So you want to kind of manage some of those with that as you explore. So going at a slower pace definitely is going to help you out in this one. Another interesting thing with this one is that there's only one noise token now, which is a double-sided token. You have one side with a bang and the other side with a boom. So this is going to move around the board, going to whichever survivor triggered a noise token. Now, if once a boom has been generated, unless another boom is generated during the turn, then the boom is going to stay wherever it was. That's the loudest noise out there, so such as an explosion or a train or some other things that will cause a boom effect. Then that token doesn't move for the rest of the turn, and that's the noisiest spot for that turn. So another really interesting thing, as I don't know if they have noticed or just decided to change it up to one token. With a lot of the other Zombicides, I never used the noise tokens, as I was able to pretty much keep track of where the most noise was generated with those, so it just kind of took up space. So that is an interesting addition to this one. So another new feature with this one is the way that the spawn points work in general. So you're going to have one spawn point that is numbered number 1, and that's where you're going to start for the turn. And then you'll move around the board as usual in clockwise manner, spawning at each one of the other ones. But you're also going to have some, I believe they're called mobile spawn points. So with these, wherever they're placed at the beginning of the game, that's where they're going to stay initially until they're hit with holy water, at which point you're going to take that and move it to the starting or number 1 location, kind of adding them up there. So that's another really cool thing, is that you can really kind of bulk everything up potentially there, not necessarily being a good thing, but and there's other things such as the train. If it comes on and there's a mobile spawn point, that's going to kick over as well. So there'll be different ways of manipulating those spawn points into different areas. Another new feature with this one is the abomination spawn point. So this is going to start the game inactive, and whenever a abomination is out on the board, this will flip over to the active side, and so you'll be spawning new spawn cards during the zombie phase on this as long as it's active. Now once you eliminate the abomination, this will flip back over immediately to its inactive side. And if you ever have to spawn or if you've already passed this when an abomination comes out and it becomes active, you also will not spawn at that particular location once it is passed. So that's 3 things so far. Another thing is with the investigator or survivors themselves. So in this one, kind of like with Zombicide Invader, the space version of this, there was 2 different classifications of the survivors. There was soldiers and then civilians. So this one takes that and multiplies it by 2, and now you have 4 different types of survivors. You'll have brawlers, and each one, another cool thing with this is each one of them has their own special ability beyond their starting abilities. So brawlers, that is the first class, and with, like, for example, with Carl here, he is a brawler. And so with brawlers, they have the charge ability. This lets them move up to 2 spaces to a space with zombies, and then they get a free attack action. So that is their ability. Then we have the gunslingers. And so these guys obviously are very handy with a gun, and their ability is fanning. So they can choose to do a fanning attack with a pistol that allows it. And this is going to allow them to roll 6 dice. They need 5s or better, and then based on the weapon that they have equipped, that'll be the amount of damage that they do, and the range is calculated by those. And then these other 2 stats will change that over. And this also causes a boom. So this is one of the things that will switch the noise token over to the boom side. And then this has a reload ability, so you have to spend an action to reload this. So they are really handy in tight situations. The next one is Townfolk. So with Townfolk, they actually have 2 different abilities. Townfolk can search as many times as they want during a turn. They're not limited to just that one search. And then Townfolk also have the ability to see with ranged weapons past 1 zone in a building. Normally, you're only allowed to shoot 1 zone away in a building. Townfolk have an unlimited range in buildings. So another really interesting thing with them. And then the final class, at least for this, now the expansion adds in 1 additional class, are the faithful. So these are your preachers and priests and nuns and all that kind of stuff. Now with these guys, they have an ability that is Vede Retro, and they have a token that they can spend an action and then place this token anywhere in line of sight. Correct. And then with this token, that stops all of the zombies in that space during their turn from activating for the first time, and then the token is removed. So if they get an additional action or activation due to a card or something, they're still going to do their action then. But this stops them from doing their initial activation, which is super handy in certain situations. On top of that, this token sometimes grants these particular this particular class special abilities. For example, his first ability is +1 damage combat, which is only going to be triggered in the space with his token. So he'll have to drop that token first, and then he gets to add that extra ability on there. So that's really cool. Now, another interesting thing with the investigators is kind of like in Black Plague, and I can't remember if there's other Zombicides that do this, so I apologize for that, are that they have a special slot that you can slot in a weapon. With, I think, pretty much all of these guys, it's just weapons. So with these, for example, with the townsfolk, they can equip a rifle into this slot, and in that way, your survivors can have up to 3 weapons equipped. So they kind of have like 3 hands, I guess, so you could kind of say, or they're just really fast at switching out weapons. So the one downside to that then is that their backpacks have been decreased down to 3 slots. So you don't have 5 slots anymore. You only have 3 slots to hold additional items in your backpack. So they've kind of cut down a little bit on that end. Oh, the other thing I forgot was with the brawlers, they actually have 3 hit points instead of 2. So that is another interesting addition to them. They're a little bit harder to bring down. So that's everything with the survivors, and then I covered that. I think the only other thing, okay, so there's 2 other things. First off, with the buildings, there's a new balcony space. So with the balcony spaces, there's one section that has stairs that'll lead up to them. So that's the only way you can normally get to them unless you're your survivor. I apologize for the mix-up in terminology here. I've been playing Cthulhu Death May Die, and in that one, it's investigator, so I'm constantly getting this stuff switched up, so I apologize for that. Anyways, going back to this, you have one space that has a stairway that leads into a balcony. Now, the balcony potentially is like a higher area, so the only other way you can get up there is a jump action, I believe, at this point, which some survivors have. So with the balcony, it has line of sight to all, it's considered a street space, and it has line of sight to all street spaces that are orthogonally adjacent to it as far as they can see. Now, again, you still have to have a weapon that has the range to target those spaces if you want to fire like a farther range. But it gives you line of sight to all those spaces. So for example, with this balcony here, I can see these 2 spaces here. I can see all the way down there. I can see all the way down here. And I can see all the way across all of those spaces. So very handy, especially if you have a rifle or a long-range weapon. The balcony spaces are really, really good. Now, the downside to them is that, again, unless you have the jump ability, they only have one way of getting on and getting out of them. So if you're really focused on killing zombies and you got some coming up the back end, you might get into trouble, so you got to keep an eye on that. And then the last new thing, I believe, at this point, that is the trains. So there's going to be a lot of scenarios that, as you can see here, we have the train tracks, and especially, well, for example, with this particular scenario, we are going to, this token here, or the box, is going to move at the end of each round. At the end of the round, when it moves off, the train is going to arrive, and then you would flip over this first token. So let me take that real quick and show you how that works. And the locomotive has showed up at this point. Now, at the end of the player's turn after this, the locomotive is going to move, and then a new space will be revealed, which is one of the other attachments to it. And then the next turn, it'll move off, and then after that, then the whole thing moves off. So a really interesting feature to the game as well, as it adds new things, especially with line of sight and all that kind of stuff. So some really cool stuff with that. I think that is everything. So the other couple things oh yeah, there is a couple other things. So first off, there are bounty weapons. So there's a deck of bounty weapons. These are interesting, as obviously they're some of the more powerful weapons in the game, but they're not super powerful in this one like they have been in past iterations, as they also have each one has a little ability at the bottom here that if you meet it, you actually get the card. So for example, with this particular one, it says kill 3 zombies or more with a rifle in a single turn. If you can pull that off, then you gain this weapon. The other way is obviously to pick up the chests as normal, and you'll get to draw one of these. But that adds a really interesting feature that you can potentially meet certain things and gain these weapons as well. The other thing with the search deck, this particular version does not have any enemies in it, so it's completely safe, but there's also there's no super powered weapons, so you're not going to have any chainsaws or anything like that, or great swords or anything. So all the weapons are pretty much tailored around the same kind of thing. You're not going to have any weapon that's going to be rolling tons and tons of dice, so you're definitely going to have to work closer as a team for those kind of things. The other thing is with the spawn deck. So this spawn deck is going to have a ton of abomination cards, and I think there's 8 abomination cards in this one. So there's going to be a lot more abomination action with this one. And there's only 1 abomination included in the base game, but if you have some of the expansions or the Kickstarter and that, you can add additional abomination cards or specific cards in there or off to the side, and then you'll draw one of those, and that'll determine what abomination comes out. But the abomination is going to be showing up a lot more in this one. And the cards themselves are going to generate a lot of enemies. There's going to be a lot of enemies on the board. There's a few activation cards, but nothing else that's really tricky in there like some of the other versions. But you do expect a lot of enemies to be pouring out on this one. So other than that, that's pretty much it. So at this point, then we're going to go ahead and move in, and I'll show you or talk to you about what this particular scenario is, what we're trying to accomplish, and then I'll get in here and see if I can pull it off. All right, so moving into this particular scenario, we have a couple of goals. First off, each one of the survivors needs one of the bounty weapons. And then we have to make it onto the train, and none of the zombies can be on the train when it leaves. So we have to make sure that we keep the train clear of all of the zombies, and we also have to have those bounty weapons. And we're kind of against the clock here, as we're going to basically have 5 rounds before the train shows up, and then the train's only going to be around for a couple of rounds. So we definitely need to be selective on how we're going to accomplish this and kind of move quickly, but also make sure that we try to not get too overwhelmed. So the other conditions with this one is if any of the survivors are eliminated, the game is over immediately and we've lost. And we're definitely going to have to meet some of those requirements because there's only 4 red boxes out here. So we're going to need at least 2 additional items that we'll need to earn by accomplishing those goals. So let's go ahead and move into it. And we have to choose a starting investigator or survivor. So I think I will start. I think I'm going to go ahead and start with Trixie and have her go first. All right, so Trixie is a town folk, and so she's going to go ahead and start off by moving in here. So that's her first action. So as part of that, we'll drop that spawn token in there, and then she's going to spend an action to search, and she picks up a Winchester. So this is a little better of a rifle. So I'm going to go ahead and simply slot the Springfield in there, and I'll drop that in her slot. And I'm going to go ahead and search again with her because she is, again, a town folk, so she can search multiple times, and she found plenty of bullets for that Winchester. So that will help her out. And that is the end of her turn, is her 3 actions. So then we'll move over to Carl to go. And I think I'm going to go ahead and jump in there with Carl as well. I'll do a search action. And I found some holy water, so that's great. I'm going to go ahead and spend that right away, as that is holy water. Discard at range 0 to 1 in line of sight of a spawn zone, abomination, or mobile spawn token to move it to the starting spawn zone. Corpse pile spawn, which is this one, token, flip it to its inactive side. In either case, survivor gains 5 XP, may be used in the backpack. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and discard that. I get 5 XP for that, so I was thinking about picking up that point, but I'm definitely not going to do that, as that would put him in yellow, and I don't want to do that just yet. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and move out of there, move back into this area here. All right, so that is the end of his turn, as that is all of his actions. So we're over to Meg to go. And what do I want to do with Meg? I'm going to go ahead and move the wagon with Meg. So it's going to cost all of her actions to do so. So I'm just going to move these guys out of the way so we can see this. And you have to move, a investigator or survivor has to be outside of a wagon, which nobody starts in there anyways. But so that's why I moved these guys out of the way. All right, so that is her turn. And when you end your turn, no, I'm gonna go ahead and hold off on that just yet. All right, so that is her turn. So we're over to Henry to go. So Henry, he's back out here. Henry is going to go ahead and move in and search. And he has a machete. So we'll go ahead and equip that. Actually, I'll probably throw it in instead of the pan because the pan's not very good. So that will give him that. And do I want that? Yeah, let's go ahead and take that. So that's going to get him 5 points. And he gets the first bounty weapon, which is the Coach Gun. So this is a range of 0 to 1, 3 dice, 3+, 1 damage, and it has reload as an ability. All right, so that was he moved in, searched, and he picked up. So that's all his actions. And now our new bounty weapon is, okay, so this one, you kill 2 zombies or more in a zone with another survivor in a single turn. All right, so that one is actually kind of doable. All right, so that is the end of his turn, and now we're over to Hannah. Hannah is going to, I think I'm just going to move with her. So I'm going to go 1, 2, as this is 1 space here, 1 big space, and 3 to finish off her turn. That way I can try to get in here before that abomination thing is triggered. Hopefully, we'll see what happens there. So that is going to end her turn. So then we're over to Thomas to go. He is going to move in, and I'll try to search. And I found the Remington. This is a 0 to 2, 1 die, 4+, and 1 damage. So I'll go ahead and slot that in there. And I will go ahead and step back out. All right, that is everybody. So that is the end of the player phase. So now we're moving into the zombie phase. So during the zombie phase, the first thing that they would do is all the zombies would move towards either the source of most noise, which right now that is going to stay there for the moment because nobody's really done anything that made noise. And then we're going to go ahead and spawn new zombies. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and handle that. So we'll start up here. And it's an abomination. Well, that definitely did not go in my favor. So then over here, next, we have brutes. We're going to have 2 brutes come out. So these guys are out. Then moving over, that point is inactive. So now we're over there. And so we have 2 walkers. And then now the abomination spawn zone. And we have 2 runners. So not the best. All right, that is going to end that. So during the end phase now, this is going to move forward 1 to track the train's approach. And then this moves over to the next survivor to start off. And that is our turn. So back into the player turns. So let's see what to do. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and move Carl 1, 2. That will activate this zone here. And I'm going to go ahead and search. And he found a shotgun. All right. Not what I was hoping for, but that'll work. All right. Over to Meg. She's going to move up with this again. And then at the end of her turn, she can also, if she ends her turn in a space with a wagon, she can also get into it as a free action. That will allow her to use the Gatling gun starting her next turn. All right, so that will end her turn. So we're over to Henry to go. I'm in that zone, so I might as well go ahead and search and try to find something. I found the Sheffield and guns all around. Okay. Let's see here. So I guess I'll do a trade action then. I'll give Trixie the coach gun as she is a little bit more effective with that. As I'm a brawler, I want to get into the mix of things. In my last action, I'm going to go ahead and move back out to start getting into position there. All right, so that will finish off Henry's turn. So over to Hannah to go. Hannah is going to go ahead and move in. She'll go ahead and pick this up. Yes, do I want to do that? I would really like to... I would really like to get something else instead, though, because that one's actually doable. I think I'm going to hold off on that and change up my plans here. So I'm going to go ahead and move back 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a couple of pot shots on the zombies there with my Springfield. It has range at 2, and it's going to roll 1 die, and I need a 5 or better. So let's go ahead and second action. I'll go ahead and fire. And I hit it. So there's 1, and I get that. And third and final action, I'm going to take a shot again. And it's a 4. No luck. Okay, so just the 1 went down. That is going to finish off her turn. So we're over to Thomas to go. He is going to move up. I'm going to spend an action to drop my token on there. And then I don't have anything that does 2 damage yet, so I won't be able to attack the abomination, as I would get +1 damage with anything in that zone with that token. So I could potentially bring down an abomination if I had a weapon that did 2 damage, but I do not. So I guess I'm going to spend my last action to move up here. We'll hold off there. All right, so that is his turn. Over to Trixie to go. She's going to go ahead and search again. And she found some more holy water. All right, so that was her first action, her second action, third action, and then she's going to go ahead and discard this to eliminate that spawn zone. And then she gets 5 points for that, so she's up to 5 as well. And that is her turn. So Carl started us off. So that is the end of the players' turns. Now we're moving into the zombies' turns. First off, the abomination would move, but this is going to stop him from doing so. So now that will be removed. Let's go ahead and just go around the board. Those guys will move up. She's going to move forward, and then these guys will move too. So they're going to finish off there. All right, we're still in blue. So then we're going to start off with number 1, abomination. So now he moves forward 1. All right, over here we have 4 walkers. So more enemies pouring out of here. This would actually move up. That's the noisiest spot. Kicking over to there. We have 4 brutes. Oh my goodness. That is a lot of brutes. And then finally the abomination spot is 2 more runners. That is the running zone over there, I guess. Okay. So that will finish off that turn. And again, at the end of the round, that moves forward. This will kick over to Meg to start us off. And she is ready to rip-roar right through some of that stuff with the Gatling gun. So let's go ahead and start that up. It has a range of 1 to 3. It starts off with 3 dice, 4 pluses, and does 2 damage. And it does have escalation on range, so that means that every action you take after the first one, continually taking that action, you'll get an extra die. So if she shoots twice, she gets 4 dice, and if she shoots 3 times, then she'll get the 5 dice on that last one. So let's go ahead and start off. And I don't have a lot that can handle enemies that are toughness 2, so let's go ahead and pick on these guys here. So we'll go ahead and try to work on some of them. And we need 4s, and we didn't roll any. Oh man. Now that is a, Gatling is a boom, so we have a boom there. She's going to go ahead and shoot again. She's going to try them again. Now she gets 4 dice. And a little bit better this time. There we go. There's 3 of them. So now she got those guys down, and she's going to get 2 XP for that. And her last action, she's going to go ahead and take another shot, and we'll hit those 4 back there to keep working on these tough guys. And just 1. These wooden dice do not like me. I love them. They're really cool, but they definitely do not like me. Okay, so that is her turn. So then we're moving on to Henry to go. So Henry is back there. He does have a machete, but that only does 2 damage. So, but we could start working on that. As Hannah's going to be next, she does have the marksman ability. So So that could be good. So I'm going to move 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to go ahead and go in there, risking it to see what I can do here. And all right, so all right, so that is his turn. I could have used the charge ability, but I'm hoping to be able to take them out. So it kicks over to Hannah to go. She could jump in that Gatling gun and go to town. And since she has the marksman ability, let me double check just to be certain, because I know how that normally works, but every time they change this up, sometimes they switch things up on me. So survivor may freely choose targets of all of their ranged attacks. Friendly fire is ignored. Okay, so I could hop in the Gatling gun, and that would give me the 2 zombies in a zone with another survivor in a single turn. So that would give me that bounty weapon. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to spend 1 to get into there, as I think I'd be hard pressed to do it with the Springfield. And then I'm going to go ahead and start off by taking some shots. Now again, friendly fire is not affected because she has the marksman ability. So let's see if I can pull this off here. And all 3, nice. So 2, as the abomination is not going to be affected by that, but the 2 runners are gone as I get to pick my targets as well. So that's very helpful. So that will give me the 2 that I needed to get this weapon here. Now I can just get it. If I can get it to somebody else, that'd be great. And then she's going to go ahead and spend her last action to get out of there. And that way then she can try to get it to somebody. If I can pull this off here. All right. That is the end of her turn. So then we're over to Thomas to go. Thomas, what does Thomas want to do here? I do have the Remington that has range. So I'm going to go ahead and take a shot on the walker there. It's a 1 die on a 4+. And I got her. So she is dead. He gets a point for that. And then my second action, probably be good to stop something from moving. Let's go ahead and put it up here with the brutes, and I can take a shot. Now that I have that up there, I can do +1 damage, so the Remington will actually eliminate one of them if I can get another. All right, 2 6s. I like that. All right, so that'll get me another XP, and that will finish off his turn. So then we're on to Trixie to go. She has that. All right, and she does have the jump action, which lets her jump over 1 space. And I believe this one's a little tricky. I'll have to check on this one to be absolutely sure, but I believe she could jump from her space into one of these balcony spaces, as it's technically 2 spaces away, and a jump allows you to jump 2 spaces away. And a jump does allow you to jump onto a balcony. So I believe I could pull that off. So I could go onto there, and that will give me range and line of sight to a bunch of different things. So that was her first action. She's going to go ahead and use that coach gun. And, ooh, geez. Maybe not. Because she has... well, she could use the Winchester. It does have... So, yeah, I think I will try that. I'm going to try the Winchester on those guys there, as I am 1, 2, 3 spaces away. Winchester has that, and it's 2 dice. So I can try to do that without... Ooh, well, even with that, if I get 2 4s, we go to yellow. Question is, do I want to risk yellow? Yeah. All right, so I pulled it off. I only got 1 success. I do have the reroll if I wanted to with the plenty of bullets, but I think I'm going to stick with that, as that gives me just the 1 extra that I was hoping for. The way that I eliminate one of those and still do something, but not not go overboard on that. All right, so that I think I'm going to end her turn there, as she did have one action left. I don't think there's anything else I really want to do at this point. All right, so then it's over to Carl to go. What's the next bounty weapon? So this one is gain 5 action points or more while standing on a balcony in a single turn. Okay. So Hannah could potentially do that one too. Or Trixie. So Hannah, Carl's in here. Search one. I could still pull it off. If I do a search and I pull a weapon that does 2 damage, then I could move out for my second and then do a charge for my third and potentially bring down that abomination. But again, then I'm going into yellow. So, let's try it. All right, try my luck. Search action, I get a pickaxe. It does 2 damage. It's fantastic. Okay. So then my second action and then third action is to charge. And then I get a free attack. So if I can pull this off, I need just 1 4. I get 2 dice. And he gets +1 damage on melee. So that's why I'm going to be able to bring down the abomination if I get this. All right, come on, Carl. Oh no, it's a pair of 3s. Oh, so close. Oh well, not everything goes to plan. All right, so that is going to end my turn. Then the enemies are going to activate. So Abomination first would attack. So one of those guys is going to take a wound. So I'll go ahead and take it with Henry. So he's down to 2 now. Then these guys are going to move up. The Brute would not activate because of the token, but the token gets removed. Then the runners will go. And at least at this point, we're all still in blue, so extra activations will not trigger. All right, then it's the first point up there, and it's the Abomination, so Carl will take a wound as Abomination gets an extra action. This is where things get deadly, because a lot of those cards can pop up, as there's a lot of them in the deck, and you can definitely run into some serious problems here. That's the other reason why I wanted to get Carl in there, just to soak some wounds if needed. So over here, we have an extra activation. Luckily, we are not in yellow. Otherwise, all walkers would get an extra action. Not super detrimental, but still something to keep in mind. So over there then, all walkers get an extra activation. So then they would have attacked. That would have been bad news. Actually, that would have been the game, because only each one of those guys has 2 wounds. So they could have soaked 3, but not 4. So that was a super lucky roll. Even though I was not too happy with it to begin with, that definitely saved the game. All right, so over to the Abomination spawn zone. So we have 2 Brutes coming out. Okay, so all things considered, not terrible. All right, then at the end of the round, this is going to move. So that train's coming, so we got to get moving here. All right, and then this moves over, and it's Henry to start us off. So Henry's going to go ahead and use the machete to attack. It does 1, it gets 1 die, and it's a 3+. I'm going to go ahead and hit the runners. And there's 1. So that's 6. And at this point, I'm pretty much going to have to go to yellow. And there's the other one. So there's that. Now I get 2 actions. Henry, I could spend 2 actions to get out of that space now, as Carl's going to go later. What does Henry want to do? I could just move back. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be my best option for right now. All right, so that is going to end Henry's turn, as it costs him 2 actions to move back. Over to Hannah. She has the Springfield still. I think she's going to do a trade action to get this over to Henry, as that's a lot more effective for him. And she'll go ahead and take the pistol instead. So that was her first action. Second action, let's go ahead and just jump back into the wagon. And third and final action, I'll go ahead and take a shot. I'll go after those guys there. That would give an opportunity for Trixie to potentially get that, though. What to do then? So take that back. So that was she only had one action there. So 2 and 3. That way she can kind of go after that. All right. So then it's over to Thomas to go. Thomas still doesn't have a 2-point weapon. So Thomas will need to do something. All right, Thomas, what are you going to do? Let's go 1, 2, and 3. All right, so that is the end of Thomas's turn. Over to Trixie to go now. So Trixie's going to go ahead and target these guys with the coach gun first. So it's going to be 3 dice, 3 pluses, has a range of 0 to 1. So if she can get 5, she'll get that weapon. So let's see if she can pull that off. I'm going to have to kill all of these guys, and then the Winchester will have to handle that. So this is going to be tricky, but we'll see what we can do. All right, so that's all 3 hits. So that's 3 guys. That'll get her 3 points. And that puts her up to 9. So now she's in yellow. Let's go ahead and mark these before I forget. Henry got it as well. All right, that was her first action. Second action, she's going to go ahead and use the Winchester now and take a shot onto the brute way over there. It's 2 dice, 4 pluses. And she got him. All right, so that is 4 guys. She just needs 1 more. She's got 2 actions remaining. So I'm going to go ahead and take another shot with the Winchester onto this guy. And she got him. All right, so that will take care of him. She's going to get another XP for that. And she gets this weapon. So this is the Mauser C96. It has a range of 0 to 2, 2 dice, 3 plus, and it does 1 damage with no fanning capabilities. Okay, not too bad. And that gives me my 3rd bounty weapon. And then the next one we have lining up is the Volcanic Pistol. Gain 3 action points or more in a single action with a pistol or dual pistols. Okay. Well, at this point, we're probably going to be getting it through that, so that is okay. So over to Carl. Carl's going to go ahead and attack the Abomination there. I just need 1 4. And there it is. I got 2, so I double killed him. 5 points for that. That puts him up to 10, and we'll give him another action. I could move in and pick that up. It'll give me another 5 points. We're running out of time though, so it might be the best to do that. I think that's probably, yeah. All right, so second action, I'm going to move in. Third action, I will pick this up. That gets me 5 more points, puts me up to 15. Oof. And I will pick up this weapon. So this is the Volcanic Pistol. This is a range of 0 to 1, 3 dice, 4 plus, 1 damage. I will go ahead and switch it out with the, actually the pickaxe can go where the pan is. So I can only equip melee weapons in that slot. And then I will go ahead and hold on to those 2 for now. And I got 1 action remaining, so I'm going to go ahead and move out of there, as I don't want to be in there with those guys. All right, so that's the end of his turn. Over to Meg to go. So she has no one to shoot at this point. So I'll go ahead and flip that over back over to Ben, because nobody's used the Gatling yet, so I should have flipped that over at the end of the last turn. And let's go ahead and get out for 1, move over for 2, and move in for 3. So that will add a spawn point here. All right, so that's the end of her turn, and Henry was the one that started us off. So that is the end of the player phase. Moving into the zombie phase, these guys are going to move up 1. So at this point, we got to be careful about extra activations here. So starting off at location number 1, and this is inactive right now because of the abomination. So we have 4 walkers showing up there. And then at this new spawn point, we have 4 runners. Oof, lots of runners. Okay. Over here, we have 4 more runners. So the runners are showing up in droves. Up top there, we have 6 walkers. As you can see, lot more enemies coming out. And no abomination, so the abomination zone is quiet at this point. So again, we got lucky. Not too bad. All right, then this slides forward. This will move, and then this gets moved to the location with the most noise. There's no bulk of survivors, so I get to choose where to place this. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop it right back there for now. There's no point in moving it anywhere else. And then it's my turn. And I think I should have moved that around a little bit more, but in this particular mission, it doesn't matter too much because all the zombies pretty much see most of the people that are out there. So it's not a big thing. All right, so Hannah is going to be our first one to go. Oh, she's going to go ahead and search. She found some dynamite. So dynamite. So that'll be useful. I'll go ahead and place that there. I think I kind of need to move back out at this point. I could search again. I think I will one more time. We have a sawed-off, so that's all right. And then her last action, she's going to move out. Over to Thomas. He's going to spend his first to pick up, and that will put him into yellow at 7. And then he gets that bounty weapon. This is the Colt Blunt Line. This is a 1 to 3 range, 1 die, 4+, 1 damage weapon. Not too bad. So that was his first action. I could search as well. Let's go ahead and do that just in case if I can. Hey, some holy water. That's what I was kind of hoping for. All right, so that was his second, third, and fourth action. Then we're on to Trixie to go. She's got her work cut out for her. She's got enemies all over the place. So I think we're going to work on the runners first. I think that's probably the smart move. I'm going to go ahead and use the coach gun. That is a 3 die weapon on 3+, all 3. Very good shot. So I'll take them out. And that's 3 more. Got to be careful with her. She's getting close to orange here. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the Winchester to take a shot on that last one. Missed, but I do have plenty of bullets, so I can shoot again. Nope, didn't matter. All right, so that was her second action. Let's try it again with her third. Oof, reload, or with the plenty of bullets. There we go. That'll give her 1 more. She has 1 action left, so let's see here. She still has, a little bit of give yet, so I could take some more shots. Actually, I think I'm just going to hold there for now. I think that's probably smart because then I'll be able to have a little bit of extra stuff to do next turn. All right, so she's going to end her turn there. Then it's over to Carl to go. Carl's got all kinds of enemies all over the place. Where do I want to jump in? So I'm going to go ahead and do a charge into there. So that gives me a free attack with my pickaxe. I need 4+. I got 1. So 1 guy goes down. I pick up another XP. I'll go ahead and do my second attack. Got him on that. Still have 2 actions left. I'm going to move back out for 1, and I'll move here for 2. So that'll finish off his turn. Over to Meg to go. So she's got all kinds of stuff there. So she's going to go ahead and do a search. She found a saber. She's going to go ahead and do a fan attack. So that's going to get her 6. Is it 5 or 6 dice? I can't remember that. I think it's 6. It is 6. So it's 6 dice. Unfortunately, with the old timer, that is going to require 6s. So we'll see if she gets lucky with any of these. And, ooh, nope. No 6s. We would have had a couple of 5s, but no 6s. All right. And that does cause a boom. So this would have been up here when she shot, but now it's going to be there with the boom. All right. So she was unlucky with that. And at this point, I need to move. I was going to move down. Well, Henry still hasn't gone. So I can move down and then move in and attack and hope for the best. I do have a really good weapon, so that would potentially help. Do I risk it? Sure, why not? All right, so I'm going to go there, and that will be her turn. So now Henry's going to go. He's going to spend his first action to go there. His second action, he's going to charge. So 2, and then I get a free attack. And I get 3 dice on 3s. There's, oh, that's crack. There's 3, so that is 3 runners. And that was his second action. Third action, I'll attack again. And I got 1, just what I needed. That was very close. And I'm going to go ahead and move back 1 space just to be a little safe there. All right. Or I could move down with her. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Just so we can kind of bulk up there. All right. That is the end of his turn. And Hannah started us off. So that is the end of the survivors' turns. So now it is over to the zombies to go. They're going to move forward. And these guys are going to move forward. Yep, because they can see Carl. All right. That is the end of that. So then it's going to be spawning. So starting off on location 1. Here comes an abomination. Nope, not yet. Runners. 4 runners. All right. Over here. 6 walkers. Oof. That's a lot of walkers. 2, 4, 6. Over to that location. There's the abomination. I knew he was coming somewhere. So that'll flip back over. This gets flipped back over and is going to go. So there's 2 locations with the most noise. I'll go put it there. Flip that over. All right, kicking over to there. We have another abomination, so he's going to move. And then the abomination point, another abomination, so he's going to move again. Whew. Nasty. All right. That is going to end the spawning step. So then at the end of the round, the train is going to show up. So that will trigger the train. And so the train is going to come out on this point because that is the 10. And when the train comes out, it kills all the enemies in its zone. It's going to move this to the starting zone. So that'll pop up there. Put these guys back. And these guys will be eliminated, as well as the abomination. And then Carl will have to choose what side of the street he wants to be on. So I got lucky with that. And then Carl, I think we're going to stand on this side. Unfortunately, the wagon was also in the way, so it gets destroyed. Luckily, with this particular mission, that is not an endgame effect or trigger to lose the game. And the train has showed up. And now that the train showed up, it also causes the boom. It makes the most noise, obviously, when it shows up. All right. So now we're starting to get down to the wire here. We got to get some more bounty items. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 1 more bounty item, which we're going to pick up there, and then we'll be good with that. So we're making some good headway. This is going to move over to Thomas to start us off. So Thomas, what are you going to do? Thomas. I do have the Colt that I do have range with. So I could, the train only blocks this section here, so this is all free so far still with line of sight, so I can shoot past that. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So I do have range to all 3 of those spaces. If I want to do anything there. I could go down here and throw the holy water and move that final token up there, which might not be a bad idea. Well, let's go ahead and drop his token in there. At least then the runners won't move. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, and I'll throw the water as a free action to move that. And then I'm going to go ahead and move back for 1 more. All right, so that will end his turn. I get 5 points for the water for throwing it. Correct? Pretty sure that was 5 points. Yep. Either case, Favre gains 5 action points. Okay, so that will be his turn. And then we're on to Trixie to go. So Trixie, we got some shooting to do, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and work on these guys here. She's going to do her coach gun first. 3 dice, 3 pluses. 2 out of 3. I could do the reroll. Ooh, no, I'm going to go ahead and take it. So two guys go down. It's going to give her 2, so she's up to 17. That was her first action. She could go orange at this point. So I'll go with the other gun then. That's going to give me 2 dice on 3s. I'll go ahead and target those walkers. And I got another one. So that puts me up to 18. So I'm right there. So at this point, it might be better just to hold. And then I'll go ahead and jump down so I can get ready to board the train. And do I do it? It gives me a free ranged action, or I could go do Gunslinger. The free ranged action would definitely be nice. Carl still hasn't gone, so he could potentially do some stuff too. I think I'm going to hold, I'm going to go back here with Thomas. It's all one space, so it doesn't matter where I place myself. I think I'm going to hold there, though. I'm going to waste her last action not to do anything. Over to Carl. Ugh, Carl's ready to go, too, so I guess it really doesn't matter. Yeah, I guess I'll take her last action then and shoot there. I'm going to go orange no matter what, so at least this way then I can clear something. There we go. All right, so that'll give Carl his ability to move on into that other zone with his charge. And then I will go ahead and take the free ranged action. Now she's 1, 2, she still has range there. I'll go ahead and do 1 more shot. I do have that as well, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. But these are 3s. All right, so that was a success. And that'll take 2 more down. It gives her 2 more. Okay. All right, so that will finish off her turn. Now we're over to Carl. He'll go ahead and do a charge, 1, 2, and attack, free attack. He gets 2 with his pickaxe on 4s. Oh, can't see it. That's a 6 and a 1. All right, so I got 1. That's going to give him 18. I'll go ahead and attack again. There's the other one. That was my second action. That bumps me into orange. I get to choose. I can either take a free melee action or Reaper combat. I think I'll take the free range or free melee action. So I could pretty much mop up the rest over here. So I'm going to go ahead and move in here as my third action. I'll do my free melee action there. And I got 1 because I need 4s. And then I have 1 action left. So I'll go ahead and attack again. And I missed. Okay. So that is the end of his turn. Over to Meg to go. She's going to go ahead and pick this up. That's going to give her this bounty weapon. This is the Henry Repeater. It's a range of 1 to 3, 3 dice, 4+, 2 damage. That's a pretty good weapon. She was at 3. She's going to pick up 5 more. That's going to give her 8. That'll put her into yellow. She's a little bit behind there. Gives her +1 action. So she's got 3 actions left. She does have a saber. She could move in and attack. 2 dice on 3s. Henry's going to be able to go in there too. So I think I'll search. She found holy water. Great. So I'm going to go ahead and spend that right away to flip that token over. That'll make that inactive. That's going to give me 5 more. Puts her up to 13. So she jumped back in pretty quick. So that was 2 actions at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and go 3 and 4 to get out of there. All right, so Henry's up next. I'm going to go ahead and charge in, and that gives me a free attack as my first action. And that's 2 hits. So that will bump him up 2 more. So he's at 13. I'll attack again as my second action. And there's 3 more, so that will clear those guys. Okay, that puts me up to 16. I'll go ahead and do a search, and I found a machete, so I could actually dual wield these. So I'll go ahead and do that, and flip this over to the top slot there. And now I have all 6 items that I need. There's only 1 item left, which is the heavy saber. To kill an abomination with your last action, to get that one. All right. Okay, so I have 1 action remaining with Henry, so I'm going to just move him over 1. Right, because I charged in, attacked, and then searched. That's 3 actions, and then 4 was the move. All right, so that is Henry's turn, so over to Hannah to go. And we've cleaned the board. That was pretty impressive. All right, so Hannah does have dynamite. I don't know if we're going to need that at the moment, though, obviously. So Hannah hasn't really done a whole heck of a lot. She's been pretty quiet this game. All right, so I'll go ahead and move up. I'll do a trade action to, because she's the only one that doesn't have a bounty weapon, so that way then we'll meet our little requirement for that. So I will take this gun and give her that one. All right. Pretty much there's not much else I can do at the moment. So I think I'm going to end my turn there. So that is the last survivor. So at this point now, instead of at the end of the round, now is when the train moves. So at this point, then this will pick up. This one slides down. This flips over, and now the next car is ready to go. All right, so then we have our spawning step. So number 1, we have 4 runners. Okay. Number 2 is, 8 runners. Holy smokes, because we are in orange. And I forgot to move that token off because that's gone at this point. All right, so we've got 8 runners. We have 8 brutes. So this is going to pile up here. There's 6, 7, 8. Okay. And the last one, there's 3 on there, is an abomination. So he comes out. that will open up his action space. And one more is 8 walkers. So there's the walkers. Okay, so then this is going to move. So Trixie's going to start us off, and we're ready to go. All right, so Trixie, so now this is blocking line of sight, and these are considered building spaces. Trixie's going to go ahead and get in. And then she does have the Winchester that does have range. So I guess we'll start taking some shots. So that was her second action. She's going to go ahead and shoot. And she's looking for 4s. And that is going to hit, what's the order? This one is Brutes and Abomination then. So I got 8 Brutes to chew through first. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, that was a miss on both. So I'm going to go use the plenty of bullets to shoot again. Hey, all right, 2 misses to 2 hits. I'll take that. That's pretty good. All right, so that gives her 2. Third action, she'll take her free ranged action for this. That's 1 hit. I'll take it. Then her fourth action, and that stays on the train because she's just doing bangs. All right, we'll go ahead and re-roll these with the plenty of bullets. Didn't matter. All right, and last action is 2 more hits. All right, I'll take that. It's pretty good. All right, so that puts her up to 26. All right, so her turn is done. Over to Carl to go. Carl, at this point, probably should start getting his butt out of here. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So Carl's done. Over to Meg to go. Meg's going to go 1, 2. Actually, she goes here. That's 1. I do have that. I could shoot. So go ahead and do that. 2 4s, 3 dice on 4s. And it's still going to hit Brutes, which I can take out. That was cracked. There's 3. That's 3 Brutes. All right, cool. Pretty good there. Gives her 3, puts her up to 16. That was her second action. Could shoot again. At this point, it's going to hit the Abomination, though, so that's not going to help me. So I think I'll just get a board, 3, and I'll go there for 4. All right, Henry's up next. So Henry probably should just get a board. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'll get into that car there. Henry's turn is done. Over to Hannah to go. Hannah's going to move in for 1, 2. She does have the dynamite, which I could jump off to throw it next turn, and then jump back on, because that'll light that stuff up pretty good. Okay, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Stop there. 1, 2. At this point, it's probably just hold on to it. Okay. Or I could do a trade and give it to somebody else and just have them go crazy. It'd be cool to get her up a little bit, but I think that's just kind of silly at this point to really worry about that. All right, so do I trade with somebody else? Well, then the first one to go next turn is going to be Carl. He gets a free melee. Trixie would actually be the best to do it, but she's going to be the last to go next round. because she gets the free ranged attack. Well, let's get it to her anyways. See what happens. All right, so Hannah's done. Over to Thomas to go. He's going to go ahead and move in. And then he's going to use his token on there to stop the enemies from moving. And I do have that, but unfortunately it doesn't do 2 damage. I could trade. Who has a range 3 that does 2 damage? Winchester does 2 damage. Who else has a Winchester? Anybody? Nobody else. Well, he does have a shotgun, though. I will trade for the shotgun. Yes, I'm in that space with him, so I can do that. That only does 1 damage, though. That's not going to help me. So Trixie. Trixie has the Winchester. That's the only weapon that has the damage that I need to pull that off. I've only found 1. So let's go ahead and trade that. She's just going to go ahead and hand it to him for now. So that was his second action. Third action, let's go ahead and take a shot and see if I can do this. So this is going to, I need a 4. I'll trade it. I'll get the bullets too, because I can always trade those back. And I got it. Boom. The Abomination's down. I'll flip that token back over. That's going to give me 5. And then that was his. Place the token. Traded. Shot. So he's got 1 action remaining. Shoot again. And it's another 1. So I'll take out one of the runners. So that gives him 18. He's right on the verge of going up. That would bump him into orange, which is either +1 free combat or marksman. All right, and that will end player turns. So the train is leaving. So this will flip back over. Get that over. This is going to move down, and then that flips back over. All right, so then this flips back over, and I can choose which area to put it in, so I'll put it in there. Then the enemies activate, so this is going to go away. These guys will move, and that flips that back over to its inactive side, but we'll see if it comes back up here. All right, so location number 1, and orange is 8 runners. So there's 3, 6, and 8. We're almost out of runners. Second card is an Abomination, so yep, I knew he was coming back. Third card is an Abomination. He's going to move. And final card up there is 8 brutes. So there's more brutes coming out. There's 3, there's 6, 7, 8. All right. Final turn. We just have to make it through there, and then we're out of here. All right, so this is going to move to Carl to start us off. Carl would move 1. I could do it. Man, this would be stupid to do, but it could be fun. I could do a charge for 2. I'd have to kill him, though. If I don't kill him, that's the game. That would be really stupid to do. I do have a free melee. So I could have 2 shots at it. So that's 4 dice on 4s. Do I do it? Should I be stupid and do it? I could do a charge from there. So I have done 1 action to move. My second action could be the charge. So if I screw it up, I still have 2 actions left to get out of there. But I wouldn't have enough to get back on the train. Oh, man. Do I do it? Risky, risky, risky. Do I need to do it? No, I don't need to do it. but let's do it anyways. All right, so second action, I'm going to charge in there. 2 dice. So let's take these 2 here. On 4s for my first set. And, oh, got him. All right, so that was my free. That's 5. And then I get a third action and fourth action. So I made it back on the train. Wow, that's crazy. All right, so I was able to pull it off. Didn't need to do it, but it was fun doing it anyways. So that is his turn. Over to Meg to go. We'll flip this back over. So Meg, she's there. She does have range with the heavy repeater. That's 1, 2, 3. So yes, I do. All right, let's take some shots. So 3 dice on 4 pluses. And I don't have any way to re-roll it, so I might as well do double shots. I better not, because I'm pretty close to orange. And that will make a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and roll my first set of 3. I'm looking for 4s or better. That's cracked. 2. All right. The big guys are going to go first. So that's 2. Puts her up to 18. Second shot. There's 2 more. So that's 2 more big guys. That puts her into orange, which then I will take +1 die to ranged. That gives me 4 dice now on my third shot. Ooh, there's 3. There's 3 more big guys. 23, and final action. Ugh, that was rough. All right, but I cleared all the brutes out. Okay, so that was her 4. On to Henry to go. Henry's in there. Henry will trade, I think, with her for that. That way we can just kind of, well, I'll trade. That way I can do that. That way then she still has 1. All right, so then he's got 3 more actions. So let's go ahead and take some shots on 4s. And there's 1. So there goes 1 guy. Second shot. There's 1 more, so he's definitely not as good with a ranged weapon. And final action. Final action. Hannah's up next. I think I will just trade with her. She has better potential here. So that will finish off his turn, as getting orange for him isn't going to do me any good. All right, so Hannah's up next. She is going to take some shots. Well, they did a trade, but he's not in that space. Okay, so let's see what happens here. So her first shot, 2. All right, so she's a little bit better with that. Gives her a 5. Second shot, 2 more. All right, that's cool. That puts her up to 7. Now she's got an extra action. She's got 2 more shots coming her way. And just 1 more. And then her final action. 1 more. So not bad. Not too bad. I'll take it. All right, so her turn is done. Over to Thomas to go. He is going to move up. And he does have the Colt that has the range. And he is almost ready to go up. So, well, the Colt has the range, but so does the Winchester, and that gives him 2 dice at least on 4s. So I'm going to go ahead and use that one. And take a shot. And I got 1. So that's that, and that goes into orange. So I will take, I guess it doesn't really matter at this point. I have to spend an action to put the free combat action in there, so I think I'll just take the marksman. And that was his second action, so third action. There's another one. And final action. Nothing, but I can re-roll. Nothing again. All right, so that is his thing, and we still got 5 left. And I have 1 person left, which is Trixie. So, and she's in orange. She got 1 free range. So she's going to do a trade action to get her Winchester back. And I'll take the plenty of bullets. And then she's going to move first, then I'll trade. So that was 2 actions. She has 2 actions and a free ranged attack. So she's going to get 3 attacks left. I got to do these one at a time because of the rerolls. So there's 1. There's 1, 2. And final shot. And she got 2 more. So there's only 1 guy left. That gives her 4, puts her at 31. All right. That is the end of my turn. And then the train proceeds to leave. Now, I didn't have to go through all that, but it was kind of fun just to see what I could do with this and clear out as many enemies as possible. So, well, that's it. I hope you found the video interesting. This was only the second mission, so this one really wasn't too tough, but there was a couple of times there where, depending upon what happened, I definitely could have lost, especially early on in the game. That one choice of mine, or that one bad die roll, ended up saving the game and allowing me to get to this point. So I got lucky on that one, and definitely paid off in the end. I hope you found the video helpful and you learned about some of the new abilities. Let me know in the comments down below again if you'd like to see a teaching video on this one, or if you'd like to see any other videos on this one as well, whether it's additional playthrough videos covering the base game, or if you'd like to see some of the expansions and so on from the Kickstarter. Love hearing from you and starting a conversation. Let me know as well if this is one you picked up and what your thoughts are on this one. I had a really good time with it. I definitely like some of the changes and additions. Definitely gives the game a little bit more of a fresh feel to it. So I definitely appreciate the fact that they're still trying to innovate, even though they're putting out more Zombicides. It's still a wonderfully fun game, and definitely one I would recommend. So let me know what you think as well. And until next time, I'll see you later.